Hello Facebook friends and family. I am going to do a tour of my tiny house kitchen, but first I want to tell you a few things about my tiny house and the whole project. I had decided probably in, I don't know, January, February of 2013 that was my solution so I could retire early. I was having some health problems. I was desperately craving for a simpler life, and I saw a tiny house on my Facebook newsfeed, and I had a heart attack. I thought that is my answer to prayer. And so I started planning, and I planned for 2 years. I downsized. I tried to figure out ways I could save money and pay cash for the whole thing. And yes, my hair's wet. And so I retired, I think it was October of 2015, and I moved in with my daughter. We put the house in her backyard, and I moved in with her, and I started working on the house, and I moved in March of 2016, and it wasn't finished. And I have a lot of health problems. I have fibromyalgia, arthritis in my spine, bad disc, and a bunch of stuff like that. I don't like it to slow me down or talk about it very much, but it's taken me a while. Man, I'm gonna have to hold this camera a little more still than that. But it's taken me a while, and I am just now getting finished. I did a lot of it by myself, and as I take you through the different phases of the house, I'll let you know who helped me. I'm going to talk about where I got things, how I did it cheaper, how I made some decisions on how to make the most of my space, and some things like that. So let's go inside and I'll show you the kitchen. Okay, here is the kitchen, and I'm standing in the living room, and I'm going to try to go slow so you'll be able to ask questions. I'm going to post this in YouTube as a live premiere, and that means I've already recorded it, but when it shows, I'll be online and I can answer questions if you have any. So it's not quite done. There are still things that need to be done, and I'll point them out as I go. But if I wait until it's done, this could take forever. So I'm also going to point out the mistakes that I made. And the reason I'm going to go into detail is because I have a lot of Facebook friends who are interested in the tiny house stuff, and they usually have a lot of questions, so I'm going to try to cover a lot of things. On the end of this counter next week when I make my desk, if it's cool enough and I feel like it, I'm going to put something on the end there. Excuse me. And I may even do slats. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, just to cover that up a little bit. But these three, as you can see, this is, like, I don't know, a bay window kind of thing. I'm not sure if that's what you call it. I had a coughing fit. I had to stop for a minute. I couldn't decide at first what to do with this space. I didn't know what I was going to put in this little cubby hole in the front of the house. Those three windows all go out onto the porch. And I even thought about putting my bedroom in here. I think that would have been kind of neat. I would have had to put a door across there. But I saw a shed conversion tiny house where they put the kitchen in there, and I loved it. So that's what I decided to do. And I wanted as much counter space as possible. So it just took me a while to figure out how I could do that and still leave room to walk in there and get to the things on the end of the counter. So it worked out pretty well. So what I did is I just built a very simple frame, and I bought these planks, these boards at Lowe's, and they were over where the nice finish lumber is, and I just put them down on there. And as you can see, it's not perfect. The cracks don't meet exactly, and I'm sure it's all not really square, but I'm not a carpenter. So, but what I did is I just stained it with a dark brown, and then I put about 7 or 8 coats of butcher block oil. And I just have a little bit of a spray oil on here now, but it needs another couple of coats, especially over there by the sink where there's a little more water. The floor, I'm not real pleased with it. That is a bunch of different leftover tiles that I got that were real cheap, and I just pieced them all together, and I never tiled anything before, and so I've actually had one or two crack, but that was a learning process. So I put sheetrock on the bottom half, and then on the top half I wanted it to look like old planks or shiplap in an old house. I didn't want it to look like a new house, so I bought plywood. I got plywood that was smooth on one side at Lowe's, and I had them cut it in 6-inch strips, and then I just took a sander and sanded down all the edges a little, and then I painted them and put them up, and I think it looks kind of rustic, and that's what I wanted. So, and let's see, oh, the curtains don't match. I need to make new curtains. That curtain over there, there is like a 6 square cubicle that's got all kinds of canned goods and sauces and, you know, like a little pantry space under there. Under here, there is a stool with a lid on it because that lid fits my sink. I'll show you that in a minute. But there is a stool under there, and slide in there and just sit there and eat, look out the window, or I have a little table in the living room that I use. And I have those lamps. I love those lamps. The lighting's not very good. I got those. I found like a warehouse outside of Cape Girardeau that was selling stuff at a discount, and I drove 45 miles out in the middle of nowhere and went and got them, and come to find out they had them a little bit cheaper than at Lowe's. So let me see if you can see the lamps a little better if I turn the light out. Yeah, there you go. Oh, this whole thing might look a little better with that light out. I don't know. We'll see. So I love those lamps. And that little tray, we made that. Zach Drelingus was my awesome student worker at the university. And we had, like, during the summer, it was a little slow sometimes, and we had a craft day, and we all made these. And what's so neat about this is that, and I use it for this, I take it down, and I use it for a serving tray if I want to eat in the living room, and I just put my stuff on there, and then when I'm done, I just hang it back up. Well, I try to hang it back up straight. So, let's see. And then I tried to find as much storage as I could for spices and things like that. And I bought this neat little thing at a junkyard. And that has like my labels for making herbal tinctures and some tea stuff. And then that's a little spice rack that Lisa Jenkins gave me. And the spices in there are spices that I grew last summer in my first herb garden. And then these spices are from the Amish people in the community. And then over here on this side, that window, I put a little bit wider shelf so I could put something up there, maybe plants or something. What I'm doing with it now is I'm just drying things on there. Like over there is some yarrow drying, and that's some orange peel to put in tea. Hot peppers from my garden and some things like that. And the tile on the back, I love that tile. That's the tumbled travertine. And a lot of the things that I got at the Habitat for Humanity Restore in Cape Girardeau. And like these tiles, I think they were 25 cents each. And they sold them at Menards for $4 each. I think that Menards and Lowe's will take things they have left over or rejects or things, and they donate them to the Habitat for Humanity. And so you can get a lot of supplies and stuff there cheaper. And I mean, windows, doors, anything to build a house or to use in your house. The stove I got there, this little stove, was $35. It works perfectly. I should have polished it a little before I did this video, but I didn't. I did, now this is kind of, this needs fixed. That is, I just left some space up there for storage for canned goods, and I need to put a little panel that comes down and goes back up. But that's one of the things I haven't got to yet. And then my sink is a stock pot from Walmart. I wanted something, I didn't want to take up too much space because, of course, you know, I don't have a lot of room there. And so my sink was a stock pot, and John Jenkins drilled a hole for me and put the drainer in there. And then this is the lid. Sometimes if someone comes over and I have a few dirty dishes, I can just throw that on there. Otherwise, I just put it over here under the counter on that. This faucet was a $175 faucet. I got it for $75 at the Habitat for Humanity Restore. I didn't want cabinet space with drawers and things like that. I wanted to be able to use that for storage for pots and pans and things like that. And I have my, let me see if we can pull it back. I have my Instapot down there, my little oven, and all kinds of things. And then I wanted to have, you know, all the things that I need, like flour and coffee and herbs and things like that. They needed to be setting out because I don't have cabinets. And so I thought if they're setting out, it might look kind of cute if I just have them in a jar and paint the lids to where they all match. And I also use some empty coffee jars, and that's like tea and flour and things. And then my measuring cups, I bought a little metal thing there. And that's where I put my plates and stuff right there. Bowls, plates. I do have a very large set of antique glass mixing bowls, Pyrex mixing bowls under there, under the cabinet. And then my refrigerator. Let me see if I can get back here a little. I don't remember if it's like 10 cubic foot or something like that. It's plenty big. I wish I had a bigger freezer, but I don't. And what I do is I have these little magnet hooks, and I hang my towel there and my dishcloths. And these dishcloths are crocheted cotton, and I make those, and I love them. They're good for dishes, or they're very good for face cloths too. And I have this little sprayer thing, reaches over to my stove into the pots if I need it. Let's see. Well, oh, and then over here, right here at the back of the staircase, I have storage and stuff, but nobody can see it from the other side. So it looks a little junky, but no one can see it but me or when you're in the kitchen. So I think that's about it. Hang on, let me get this. Okay. There's one thing, one of the things that people told me about the tiny houses, and a lot of the tiny house people can be a little snobby when it comes to a shed conversion or these little pre-built cabins. And they say that you can't heat them because the walls are just 2x4s, they're not 2x6s, and you can't heat them properly. But I asked a couple of expert carpenters named David Prosser and Carlette Howman, and I asked them, you know, what can I do to make sure that I can keep my house warm even with 2x4 walls? And I even thought about adding an extra layer of insulation on the outside and some more exterior siding. And they said that if I'll just put the insulation in the walls that fits there, which is about a R13, and put a layer of Tyvek over it, the insulation plastic, that would keep it warm and keep you know, losing my heat out the walls, or, you know, for the lack of thickness of insulation, that would take care of the problem. And it has worked. Every inch of this house has Tyvek over it after the insulation was put on. So I can't think of anything else. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. I used some old outlets here because I thought it might look a little more rustic. I did, I did mess up on the outlets because I did not know what I was doing. I did all the wiring. John Jenkins helped me take the wire from the pole into the breaker box. I did the breaker box and everything else by myself with videos and a book. I bought a book on wiring at Lowe's. And so in Kentucky, they won't turn your electric on at the pole until they inspect your wiring job. So that made me feel a little better. I thought if I've got something wrong, they'll catch it and maybe I won't burn the house down. So I haven't. So the only thing is that whenever you're setting the box on the studs, you have to bring it forward enough where it's just right for the thickness of your wall covering to where it's even. And I really messed that up on a lot of them. You can't see it in here. Down there you can see. I don't have a cover on that outlet yet. I'm going to have to figure something out. But that's it. It's plenty of room for me. I mean, there's plenty of counter space to do what I need to do. It's a little difficult if two people are in the kitchen, and Miss Tegan doesn't like it because she feels like she's squished in there sometimes and she wants to do something. But it's perfect for me. No dishwasher, of course. No washer and dryer. I live next door to my daughter. I use hers. There are small washers and dryers that will slide in under this. I made sure that the counter was big enough that if I ever decide that I want to buy one of those and slide in under there, and then you slide it out and then hook the hose right up to your water faucet, I can do that. I have the option of doing that if I want to. But that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. I do need to get new curtains down there. I would like to take all of the curtains off the windows. I really would like to have like 2-inch wood slats. I like that look, but I just haven't got around to that yet. Kind of hard to see, so. All right, that's it. Next I'm going to do the living room, but I need to finish that desk down there, and it's been really hot and I haven't felt very well, so I haven't got that done yet. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll try to get to the rest of the house as quickly as possible. Thank you.